Welcome back, YouTube. KRoad17 here with a brand new F1 2019 career mode video. Yes, career mode video. We are finally back after a lot of the other videos I've been pumping out. But yeah, if you guys haven't checked this out, please feel free to go do so. But we're back with career. This is Monza, the Italian Grand Prix.
The pit lane will be open shortly, which means it's nearly time for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza. The competition is certainly heating up as we head into today's qualifying. Some impressive times showing up during the previous practice sessions. Anthony Davidson, do you think we can expect a similar level of skill to be showcased during today's qualifier?
Well, I certainly hope so. The competition here is extremely tight, and I think we might see some very close times today. Remember, practice isn't just about fastest lap times though. It's about optimization, it's about ratifying your decisions. No one's going to be sweating small mistakes here and there, but in qualifying that all changes. You need to nail that perfect lap or face the consequences, and believe me, that's a lot of pressure.
So guys, we're going to pop right on board here in qualifying Q1, 19 seconds left to go, but I have to mention, this was after the infamous 105 patch. So these AI were nerfed up a lot, especially in the rain, as you guys will see. Here we are passing a slower Gasly, kind of getting in my way during qualifying, but nevertheless, we're going to push on and see what we can get out of this qualifying. Qualifying is complete. Can we get ourselves into Q2 with this flyer? It's going to be second place for the Q1 run. That's not a bad look, but I mean, I think I got lucky out of that one. But here we are, Q2. As you guys can tell, I really like leaving my qualifying late, just trying to save the car, get the best out of the car and the track at the same time. I mean, it's not going to help me, I'm slow anyways, but here we are, coming up to the final line in Q2. Can we make a Q3 appearance? I think we finished, I forget what it is, actually 7th, so we were a little slower that time, but I think we made a bold move and went to a harder compound. But here we are, Q3, the last qualifying. Qualifying is over with. I believe this is the last bit. Just going to show you guys, you know, the follow through. I found this, you know, this particular part of the track a little hard to get a hold of, especially still learning no assist. You can, you know, pull the car into there and spin it out so easily. But pushing on, we're going to go back this back stretch right before the final right hand turn, the long right sweeping turn, to cross the line and set what we hope to be a good solid top 10 finish. But here we are coming up to the line. Can we get a good start for the Italian Grand Prix? We crossed the line in third. Not a bad look. So we're going to have to keep our heads down and fight through.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Hamilton, Bottas and Rose. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
So trying to get my teammate into Q3 has failed yet again. Kimi, you are letting me down so much, but on to the race.
It's race day here in Italy once again. Monza, home to so many records. The smallest winning margin, for example. Do you remember in 1971, Peter Gethin beat Ronnie Peterson to the line by 1/100th of a second. There were 40 overtakes for the lead alone in 1965, and Kimi Räikkönen clocked a record top speed of 230 miles per hour here, just over a decade ago. So there's a lot to live up to then for all of our drivers today. With top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Rose. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position and Rose completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Romain Grosjean and Gasly, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Hamilton, they've taken a grid penalty, and Max Verstappen, Raikkonen, Sainz, Lance Stroll and Butler, Norris, Perez, Kevin Magnussen and Lucas Faber, Albon and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
So P2 instead of P3. Guys, I don't know how to feel about this, but I'm looking at over the strategy. You can definitely get away with one stop from the mediums to the softs, but here we go. We're going to wait for those 5 red lights to go out, and it's away we go at the Italian Grand Prix. 5 red lights are gone. Can we get a good start? Bottas gets an amazing start. So does Leclerc, and Vettel is going to have a look as well. I'm getting sandwiched. Grosjean gets around. Vettel gets around. I had an absolute mare of a start here. Grab the grass a little bit on the left side. Can I squeeze my way around Grosjean? I get back up to 3rd. Now it's time to chase Leclerc and Bottas. I almost said Brotas. We're just going to call him Brotas for this video. But yeah, we're going to see that we're actually losing a lot of time between these two guys. I think it's because I have my car chucked into medium ERS where they might still be running in hot lap, but I felt it was a little overkill at the beginning of this race. They might be running in higher fuel too, because I only have mine in standard, but never, I mean, you can never guess with these guys, their cars just might be tuned in way better than mine. I am in an Alfa Romeo that's, I think, still 3rd worst on the grid, but here we are, lap 1, the end of lap 1 actually. You can see these two ahead of us battling like crazy. Leclerc actually sets a quicker time than Bottas, so Leclerc is flying around this track quicker than Bottas. So if these guys battle a little bit harder, this might help pull us up to them. As you can see, I lock the tires up a little bit, end up going very deep into that tight chicane there. But, I mean, obviously losing a lot of time to the front runners again as they just pull away. I'm going to have to look at Grosjean behind me eventually in that train of cars you can see behind me. Everybody's kind of in a solid line. This corner, too, actually was a little bit tricky for me to grasp. But it might just be that the AI are nerfed. But here we are, Leclerc, who's quickest right now. Lap 8 still has the fastest time of the race. We pull up right behind Leclerc. We're going to get a good run. We're going to grab DRS. Can we get around this Ferrari? And an Alfa Romeo of all things.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
We get around Leclerc. Can we keep position, or is he going to fight back? Going to have to slow it here. He looks like he's going to hold position right behind us. Now we set our sights on Bottas. Bottas? No, we're going to set our sights on Bottas, and he's going to scoot away again. I think I lost so much, I mean, compared to the AI on that turn alone. I don't know what it is, but Leclerc looking very racy. He's going to go on the inside, actually hitting a terrible exit out of that last chicane.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
Yes, Jeff, I'm keeping focus as much as I can through, but it looks like we're going to have another run at Leclerc. As you guys can see, I've actually started to learn how to underfuel the car. Not underfuel it this time. I wanted that extra horsepower because I didn't know I was going to be battling the Ferrari. But here we are going to look for an inside. Leclerc locks up heavy, but it looks like he's going to maintain position. He positions the car just in the right spot that I can't make a move. So potentially not making a block, but making his car as wide as possible. It is dangerous if you're going to try to make a move there.
Leclerc ahead. Less than a second separate you. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 9 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1:26.3. You're falling back by 1/10 a lap.
Tires are starting to get really shot. I can feel it, so I'm going to look to dive for the pits soon. But I'm trying to maintain this gap between Leclerc and Bottas. And it's getting a bit dicey because, like I said, these tires are starting to wear and I can feel it in the rear end of the car. So I can't take some of these tight chicanes as quickly as possible. Especially this one, I really had to slow it up. And as you can see, these guys just scoot away further and further. already, you know, probably 1 to 1.5 tenths down there. But I'm going to follow through with the slipstream of this track and try to hang up with Leclerc here. Bottas right in front may look to be at 3 wide here. I don't know if I'm going to be excited about this or it might be a bit dangerous.
We want to pit this lap, so push now. Gap to teammate behind is 14.9 seconds.
Jeff always talks over me when it's the best part of the video, but there you go. 3 wide and we get around Bottas and we get around Leclerc. So we are now in the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Our engine suppliers home race. Can we hold these two off and potentially get a big victory for Alfa Romeo? It's gonna be an ask because here comes Leclerc again. Leclerc looking for the inside. I gotta leave him room, so I go really wide through that chicane. But he maintains position and falls back behind me, but possibly waiting for a clear move.
Hit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
Thanks, Jeff. Leclerc makes a good clean move on the outside of our Alfa Romeo, so we're gonna dive into the pits actually. We're actually gonna follow him into the pits. As you can see, here we go diving in. Hopefully, you know, hopefully getting a good pit stop out of this. All 3 of the front runners are in. Leclerc, myself, and Bottas follow us in. So we're all on the same pit strategy. Can we get anybody beat out of the pit stops? It is up to the pit crew. Can these guys make big? There goes Leclerc. And we actually lose out. Bottas gets us in the pit stop. So, Alpha Team, you guys just failed me. So now I have all that work to redo. As we rejoin the track, we have a Toro coming up. I believe that's Devin Butler. I can't remember if it's Albon or if it's Butler, but I'm sure we'll see in a bit. Here we are following through the chicane. I feel like that chicane is a lot more difficult to drive through after you come out of the pits than it is, you know, during the race. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. If you agree, throw your ideas in the comments. I'd appreciate to read some of them. But back on the action, Bottas is right there with Leclerc. I'm right there with Bottas. Is this going to be another 3 wide situation?
Pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
I'm not thinking about that right now. As we're going to go, looks like we're going to all maintain the same position, but we are all super close now thanks to the DRS zone and the slipstream.
Caution. The virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta.
And guys, we have a virtual safety car. Lewis Hamilton is out of this Grand Prix. I believe that's his first DNF of the season. He was leading at this point, so we're going to dive on board and see what happens to Hamilton. Just a complete and utter explosion from the engine. Smoke everywhere. So, I mean, that's actually kind of shocking. I haven't seen Lewis retire at all so far this season. Crazy. But that is Lewis Hamilton out of this Italian Grand Prix. He is not going to like that as he's the championship leader.
Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace. Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green. Green flag.
Green flag, and we're back to racing. I did lose out a little bit behind Bottas and Leclerc, trying to follow him through the DRS. So it is our job now to catch back up to these two. Can we get anywhere near them? We only have so many laps, as you guys can see. 16 laps out of 27 laps. We're gearing up towards the end. I get a little loose out of that corner, trying to put the power down, but the tires are starting to wear as well. Like I talked to before, hard tire symptom.
We started to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tires. We won't be making another pit stop.
Leclerc locks up again, really heavy, following this pack, so he's not doing his tires any type of favor here. So we're gonna ride and jump on with lap 17. I believe this is gonna be yet another 3 wide as we go and grab as much of the track as we can to get as much power down. Get a really good run on Bottas. He opens the DRS. I open the DRS. Leclerc is just a sitting duck at this point. I go on the outside of Leclerc. I don't know if Bottas makes a move, but here we are braking very easily. I didn't want to slide right through that chicane. but we actually jump into the lead of the Grand Prix again. So all to do now, actually not the lead, Vettel, as I thought, was nowhere to be found, but he was leading this race, and he was leading it by a lot. But here we are, lap 27. I couldn't catch him. I didn't have anything left in the car or the tires. He was, you know, sayonara, see you next Tuesday kind of driver. He actually grabs the win at the Italian Grand Prix as we come home second.
Great work. Well done. We're really happy with the podium here.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Well, you can't fault anything that Sergio Perez did out on the track today. He drove flawlessly, making him an easy pick.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current championship leaders still hold top spot, but that gap is getting smaller. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Guys, we did it. Alfa Romeo gets double points. Finally, Kimi put himself into the points. As you guys can see, we actually jumped Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull. Funny enough, when this video is coming out, he's no longer with Red Bull. He's with Toro. But as you guys can see, Kimi not really making much of a move, still 13th, but we are putting a lot of points for this Alpha team. But it's interview time.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Everything went your way today. It looked like you had a really good strategy for the race.
We did. The team really pulled out all the stops. I mean, come on. You can't deny that, Claire. It wasn't really much the team, it was just the car.
You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you?
With this team behind me, I don't think so, and I feel like I'm starting to get the same questions a lot.
Great. Well, that's everything.
On to the next one, guys. If you like this video, hit subscribe, hit like. I appreciate so much. Hope to see you guys in the future videos we make, but until then, I'm going to leave you with the race highlights. I'll see you guys soon.